All right. Page 2 is the curriculum and the teaching program at Traders Point. So I'm going to be going over the curriculum, and also in a few minutes I'm going to ask everybody. Oh, Morgan's pointing at the picture. I messed up. I didn't do this. There we go. Going back to the curriculum page. Okay. I'm going to ask everybody in a few minutes to be very quick, and we're going to spend hopefully 60 seconds getting from this room into that room. But be ready for that, okay? Be ready to do that. Okay, the curriculum and teaching program at Traders Point. There's several different age groups here that we teach. You're going to have a 12 to 24 month age group. You're going to have 2s and 3s are in a class, 4s and 5s are in a class, 1st and 2nd grade, 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th are classes, middle school, high school, and adult. The 12 to 24 month class is on a 2-year curriculum, but obviously you're only in there for 12 months, but it's a 2-year curriculum, and the material is a Bible survey. The 2s and 3s, and all the way up through the 5th and 6th grade, they are on a 2-year curriculum throughout the entire Bible. So that is going to be a survey, obviously, of specific topics at each point in time. What I have in front of me is something that you can't read, but what it says is it's the curriculum for each one of these classes, the 12 to 24 month class, and all the way up through 6th grade. These coincide with one another, so that if your 12 to 24 month year old child is on lesson 1.1.13, that will coincide with what your 5th grader is doing. Okay, so everybody understand that? Between the 12 and 24 month class and all the other classes going up through the 6th grade, you should have the same material. So as you go through this, and when we get into the resource room, we'll show you how the numbering system works. But we wanted you to know that it's very important that we stay on task regarding time, that we stay on task regarding which lesson we're on in the curriculum. So stay within that material as you go through it. Okay, it's very important that we do that, especially for the elementary classes. Okay, team teaching. I want to talk about the benefits of team teaching. We've been doing this since 1996, I think, is when we implemented it. 95 is when we started working on it. And what we decided to do was to do that for several different reasons. And the benefits of that are collaboration on syllabus. 2 heads are better than 1 when coming up with the syllabus, when it comes to the direction of the class, when coming up with lesson plans for the class. All those sorts of things are much better with 2 people than just 1 person. In particular, don't forget, we're on a trimester system here, so that's a 4-month-long time period. And it also helps to have 2 teachers so that 1 person isn't just teaching for that length of time. It's quite a long time period to be by yourself in a class. You have a built-in substitute. Don't underestimate that. That's very important to have a built-in substitute in a class like that. Okay. It's a built-in class member who is in tune if class is having difficulty understanding a point or not participating very well. So you've got another teacher that understands the material and also can help you out if the class isn't understanding it. If there's discipline necessary in other classes, that's what that other teacher can really help you out with, in particular if it's for younger classes. So it's another good reason or benefit to have a team teaching approach. It's a built-in resource for evaluation throughout the process. Those sorts of things where you wonder as a teacher, did that come off right? Did that sound right? Did it make sense to you? Am I going in the right direction? I see some heads nodding. It's great to have another teacher that's going through it with you that can help you evaluate some of those things. Helper in case of combative students. Hopefully we don't have too many of those. But from time to time, even in an adult class, you can have somebody that maybe wants to get their point across, and your other co-teacher can be a little helpful in those situations. Expectations. The non-teaching partners should be prepared for every class so they can be a resource. Be attentive in class. Discipline, extra copies. If something needs to get done, be a helper and be a resource for that other teacher is what the request is. It's not a time to be out of class preparing for next week. It is not a time to be out of class preparing for next week. Okay? I understand sometimes there are emergencies, but that should not be the norm. Okay? Shouldn't be the norm. We're writing our own material. The question is why? Okay. Why are we writing our own material? We've done that for a couple of different reasons. Frankly, at the very beginning, a lot of the material that was around just wasn't, it was very dated. It was very dated. There's some newer material out there that's a little bit better, but we still like to write our own material because the teacher's much more in tune with the Bible topic at hand if they write their own material, we feel. It controls the message so that it remains on scriptural things. We want to teach the Bible. The Bible is what's supposed to be taught. If we as teachers write that material and we focus in on that in our lesson plans that we're going to talk about later, then we'll accomplish our goal of staying on the scripture. We can target our class objectives better. We're going to be talking about objectives today too, and the importance of that. Targeted material questions for specific class needs. In other words, the teacher writing your own material, and some of you teachers can testify to this, you're writing your own material, you know what you want to get across. You know the objective that you're trying to make happen for that day, the objective that you're trying to make happen for that entire trimester. You can have all that happen if you write your own material. It provides much more opportunity to have a meaningful class with very young children because it's all Bible focused. Let's look at it this way. Remember, we've got a 12 to 24-month-year-old class. I don't know if a lot of congregations have that, but we do, and it's been very beneficial. And sometimes you think, what's this 13-month-old getting? But we're seeing the benefits of that in the children that we see in high school now because they know a lot of things. They really do. They're further along in the curve. Okay. It provides more flexibility than if it's a canned program. Frankly, if we started ordering material from XYZ Corporation, even if it's very good, and we took it and we tried to just fit it into what we do here, it might not work out very well because we're on trimesters and they're not, or it didn't really fit our particular needs in that class for that day. Again, a reason to write our own material. We're asking that people don't use pre-printed material without talking to the elders first. We're not saying that you can't get help from the outside with other material. That's not the point. But that shouldn't be what's carrying the class. If you're going to use something from the outside, please come see us and talk to us about it. Don't just copy previous material that was in the binder. Just because I wrote something last trimester doesn't mean that it's good, Jeremy. Hopefully it would be okay. But don't just pull something out of the file and use it, okay? Because that's really no different than just using a book that we bought from someplace else. You got to make it work for yourself, right? Pertain to yourself and for your class for what your needs are. Okay, we're going to talk about this a lot today as they get into question writing and objectives. Application is a key component. This should be a focal consideration of all lessons. If we're not making application in our classes, then we're having a history lesson. It needs to have some application so that these children can make it come to life for them. Application is what we want to have happen. Now comes the point when I'm going to ask you to spend the next 60 seconds, and please go into that room as quickly as you can.